With a chance to get even in the NL West standings with an overachieving Giants team, how could anyone who calls himself a Dodger fan not be frustrated with the way Wednesday night's game ended? I mean, as deep as the Dodgers are, you can't expect to get great run support when you're missing Corey Seager, Mookie Betts, Justin Turner, and Gavin Lux. Add in the combination of injuries and off-the-field issues ravaging this Dodger pitching staff, and now it's even more important to take advantage of brilliant outings from your starters like Julio Urias that he gave you last night with a 3-hitter on only 1 earned run from a solo shot in that first inning. So yeah, the expectation should definitely be that the bullpen takes care of business the rest of the way. And when that isn't the case, fans are obviously going to be upset, and justifiably so. So did Kenley blow it on Wednesday night? Yes. Did he blow it against the Rockies too? Absolutely. So, as effective as Jansen has been this season, we know there's this documented history of inconsistency on his part in the past few years. And when that inconsistency resurfaces in the form of back-to-back blown saves in a pair of games with first-place implications, well, I mean, it's going to become way easier to overlook the fact that Kenley, yeah, he was an all-star snub who only gave up 2 earned runs in the 27 games since May 1st. But, you know, a closer's job is more pass-fail than anyone's in baseball. And yeah, well, as a closer, Kenley has turned in way more passing grades than failing ones. But lack of run support or not, his job is to get 3 outs. And Kenley obviously didn't do that last night against the Giants. And unfortunately, what we're left with now is a loud group of people calling for his head and another loud group of apologists saying Kenley can't do anything wrong. So my message to both of them is this. Kenley deserves to be held accountable, but the low blows, man, that's not it. We can acknowledge his inconsistency and blown saves in meaningful baseball games without resorting to showering our franchise leader in saves with boos, especially since, well, I mean, he's been pretty solid all year long. Plus, it's not like the guy's actively trying to blow saves. I think if we should be mad at anyone, it should be team management. Being a player's coach is always going to have its pros and cons. You want to show faith and patience in your players, that's important. But it'll cost you if emotions get in the way of making tough decisions for a ball club that's designed to repeat as World Series champions like the Dodgers are. Another thing worth mentioning too, while the headlines are definitely going to be about Kenley's struggles, don't you think it's important we take a look at the whole picture? I mean, you tell me what you think is struggling more. A closer with an 84% save rate or a guy batting 86 in the month of July? Because at this point, I'm far more concerned with Cody Bellinger than Kenley. Because yes, hitters have slumps. We know that, but we also know that there's been a pattern from Cody now where he gets far too inconsistent at the plate. He's been back now like 36 games since his 2-month stint on that injured list. But swinging at damn near every high fastball and every low breaking ball just isn't the way to get him back above the Mendoza line even. And until that changes, he's pretty much a defensive specialist right now with a 156 batting average. He comes in clutch with some sac flies when runners are in base and in scoring position, but he's got to get it going, man. The saving grace, though, is that a Dodger lineup at or near full health has enough firepower offensively to do its thing even without Bellinger pulling his weight. And then on the other hand, the bullpen is going to be in high leverage situations against some really good offensive teams come playoff time. So for Kenley, going back to him, it really just comes down to locating. Because we've seen moments this year where he's looked like the Kenley of old, touching as high as 97 on the gun and using a filthy slider and a cutter that still moves like Mick Jagger. But he can't overcompensate trying to find that velocity because when he misses his spots, it's not a good thing. Particularly when he leaves things up in the zone in the middle of the plate. And that's just not going to work, man. By way of getting older, he's no longer the guy who could consistently work his way from behind an account. He can't afford in any instance to let teams with good hitters become more selective at the plate, sitting and waiting for the pitch they want to hit. So yes, he's 5th in the MLB in saves. There are also only 6 closers with a better ERA than him, and his opponent batting average of 160 is good enough for 5th best in the league. But it really is the walks that are killing him and the drop in strikeouts. He's got the 3rd worst strikeout to walks ratio among MLB closers. So with all that said, this is what I'll say. I really, really want Kenley to be our guy, but if Kenley is not our guy, let's not force it. But let's not relentlessly boo him either. He doesn't deserve that. Save your displeasure with Dodgers management during times where they decide to keep him in too long. Definitely don't abandon a guy who's been an exemplary representation of the franchise for years. Because there's still a lot of baseball left to be played, and this bullpen will be under a lot less pressure when Kershaw returns to the hill, and in turn, it should make Janssen's role late in games way less demanding. So I don't think it's time to panic whatsoever.